Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm on board the Sunseeker 76 yacht. I'm going to give you a full 360 walkthrough tour. If you're not familiar with this style of tour, I'm going to walk you through, but you're in full control of the angle, the view that you're looking at. So if you're on a computer, you can use the mouse to move the view. And if you're watching on a phone or tablet, you can use your finger. On a TV, you can use your TV remote. So I'll just walk you through and you can adjust the angle to look at whatever you like as you move through. And if you want more information on this particular model and to compare it directly to its rivals, head to yachtbuyer.com. Right, let's get going. We're going to start down here at the transom because there's quite a lot going on here. So there's a hydraulic bathing platform. You could probably fit something as big as a Williams 445, just over 4 metre tender on here. And there's also space for some toys back here. So it's a really good sized platform that sinks into the water. And that's important because it links with this section. As an option, you have this grill back here with a chopping board and a couple of cup holders as well. No sink, so maybe not that easy to clean it, but it's a nice place to cook right down at the waterline. You can imagine the platform sunk down, feet in the water, something on the grill. That would be really quite nice. And then it just folds away when you're not using it. And then below that, there's a little perch. Now, it's not got the cushions on it at the moment. So if you just pan down now, it's not got the cushions on it, but you can see how with the cushions on, you can sit and lean back against the transom and you've got a really nice view out the back of the boat. A couple of cup holders in the middle as well to hold some drinks. Quite a smart use of space really, as is this. This is another option, the full overhead shower. I think Fairline were the first to do this back in the day, but it's really nice. Gives you a proper shower out here. If you're anchored somewhere, you can come out here for your shower instead of being inside. And obviously when you come out having had a swim, it's lovely to have a proper hot and cold overhead shower. Quite the luxury really. Then on this side you can see there's another hatch. That's access to the crew cabin. I'm going to go there towards the end of the tour. We've also got hatches built into the steps on the starboard side for shore power connections, but that's all hidden away, so it's not on show. It looks nice and clean back here. And then if I head back to the port side, you'll see you've got equal access plus passerelle cassette. If you've got the passerelle fitted, you're going to have that in the top step there. And then we have access both sides into the cockpit. You can see controls here for the platform and also the passerelle. All easy to have and close to the mooring gear as well, with a cleat, winch, fair leads and a nice rope bin too, so you can tuck the rope tails away in there so they're not strewn around on the deck. Into the cockpit, very big space this. You can see there's a huge amount of floor space just after the doors and still leaves space for a good sized table. And crucially, there's so much space that you could put some big chairs this side of the table if you do want to have some extra space for people to dine, and this table halves in size as well. So if you don't want to use it for drinks or use it on the move, then you can fold those up and make it a bit smaller. Makes it easy to get in and out of those seats. Big overhang as well, so it's well protected. Nice shady place to have lunch and good lighting as well. You see they've gone for strip LEDs rather than spots, which just works really effectively. Over on this side, no cooking out here, but you have got a fridge and an ice maker. So easy to serve this dining table, certainly with cold drinks. Obviously that's the staircase up to the Flybridge. We will head up there in a moment. Last thing to mention, the cockpit. I like how the glazing extends to protect you when you're in here, but also it's got as an option, third docking station. So this is a twin shaft pope. You've also got proportional bow and stern thruster, and you have another station here, which is great if you're mooring stern too, especially if you're going to keep this boat in the Med. I would say that is an option that you should definitely go for. Now I'm going to walk down the starboard side deck because it's slightly prettier. We're down at Sunseeker's yard today. We've got a nice view down the starboard side. There are boarding gates on both sides. I'll just extend the camera so you can have a proper look as I walk down the side decks. They're really wide, easy to move around. This is most likely to be a crewed boat, but even so, as the owner, it's a nice easy boat to move around if you are going to do some crewing, hang the fenders, and crucially get up here to what is a really lovely living space. I think they've done a great job up here. It's a really nice mixture of seating with a big table underneath the windscreen, with the opposing benches, which makes it a little bit more sociable. You've got big storage as well. So just around the sort of windscreen moulding in these sections, if you just pan down a touch, you'll see there's two big lockers here. Really good for solenoid fenders, lines and covers. There's more storage underneath these benches. And then I like that it's all flat here and you can walk between the two sand pads. So access forward to the anchor lockers, the windlass and the mooring gear is really easy. You've also got a pair of isotherm drawer fridges here. So once again, if you're in these living areas, you've got cold drinks to hand. It's just a very easy space to move around. It's very flexible. It can be covered, of course, if you want some protection. It's a great space. Pop the camera up again so you can have a better look around. You can see the Flybridge up there. We're going to head there next. But this to me feels like a living space bigger than a 75-foot yacht, to be honest. Really, really well designed. Okay, we'll head back down the port side just so you can see that side deck. There is a side door on the starboard side into the saloon. You haven't got one on this side, but you can see how big the glazing is here. Massive glass area on this boat, which we will see the benefit of as we move inside. Before we do that, let's go and have a look up at the Flybridge, which staircase we saw earlier on. And I think it's a 75-foot yacht. It's a big yacht, but I think this Flybridge feels bigger than that. Mainly because it's segmented so nicely, a bit like the Foredeck. They've just given it really nice, segmented, well-proportioned spaces. Open space out aft. Ideal for putting some freestanding sunbeds. So there's your staircase. Nice high railings on that to help you through. And then amidships, underneath the protection of the hardtop, which has got a canvas sunroof inside it, you have this huge teak table, even bigger than downstairs. So really nice place for guests to come and dine. Certainly in the day when it's warm, well protected by that hardtop where you can adjust the shade overhead. That works really nicely. And the bar is great as well. Obviously it's got a grill and a sink and fridge and ice maker and everything. But I like the detail, I like the glass top, I like the couple of bar stools. Gives it that super yacht feel, scaled down super yacht feel. Right forward, clear of the hardtop, you've got more sunbathing space, but it also works as somewhere to sit and have a drink. Because you've got forward-facing seats as well, it's going to be a really nice place for guests to sit and enjoy the ride when the boat's moving along. You've got two seats at the helm, one's covered, one's not, so you can see they're identical, that's how they look. Bucket seats though with bolsters. And even in front of the helm position, they've got another seat. That would be a cool place, is it? Certainly, I imagine kids would love to sit there in front of the helm, wind in their hair, great view forward. That's a really nice spot for the kids to sit when the boat's moving along. And this is a nice spot for the adults to sit when the boat's moving along the Flybridge helm. Relatively simple, couple of 16-inch Simrad NFDs. Nice to see analog dials, don't see those very much anymore, but why not? They look good. Obviously you've got your throttles, and then you've got buttons for your major controls. But nice helm design. And once again, I'll just pop the camera up and show you the top-down view of that foredeck area, which looks great from up here, bathed in the sun. I really do think they've got the living spaces very well judged on this boat. Final thing to mention at the helm, there's actually a plexiglass panel that slides out of there. See, the windscreen it's quite deep, but it's a long way from the helm. So that will just help protect those at the helm from the breeze when you're going on. It's a 25 knot cruising speed, this boat. Just 30, 32 knots top speed with its twin MAN 1550 horsepower engines. So it gets a move on. It's a planing boat, so protection here at the helm is quite important. But of course, we have a lower helm downstairs and the weather's not great. That's the beauty of a Flybridge design. So we'll go and have a look at that in a moment. Back down the steps. And we'll head inside. We have a galley aft arrangement, and it's a big galley. Really big piece of counter here. Not only good for lining up food and drinks, but there's loads of storage within it on both sides. Very convenient. Close to the cockpit is a domestic sized fridge and freezer. You've also got a 4-burner induction hob with a microwave oven below, twin sink, and there's some nice detail here. So if I pop open, I won't open all the cupboards, but on this side, for example, pop that open, it auto illuminates, and you've got fiddled storage for the tumblers, champagne flutes, all in its place. Shouldn't move around when you're at sea. And you've got a wine fridge on this side as well. Opposite that is the dining table. That makes sense. If you're going to eat inside, it's quite handy that it's directly opposite the galley, and you've got a mix of bench seating, which is fixed obviously, and then these 4 Minotti style chairs on the other side. That's nice, and I like the detail in the table. The stainless steel just brightens up a bit, and you see it's mirrored in the cabinetry as well. And again, we have these perpendicular lines of LED light overhead, which draws you through the boat. It's a really, really nice effect. That means amidships, you have just a lounging space. It's all quite low, that would be my comment. It doesn't look amazingly comfortable because you've got really low backrest. Nice to slouch around in, but if you want to sit up and read the paper or a tablet and sit up and watch TV, they look a bit low to me. They do look very stylish though. In fact, the interior is very stylish in this sort of light oak colour. It's really bright. Those big windows I mentioned, you get plenty of natural light in here. This is a nice sofa, and I like that they've got the built-in sort of side table in this sofa on the port side, and behind that is where the flat screen TV pops up from. I'd also argue that a handhold here wouldn't be a bad idea, maybe in the ceiling, because you're a bit marooned between things to grab onto here. You've got the banister network on the port side that goes down to the accommodation, but here, above my head, I wouldn't mind a handrail. That would be quite helpful. Right forward, we've got these spaces that I always like, because they're a nice place to sit in the day when the boat's stationary, because you're elevated and you can look back through the boat and out aft if you're having a coffee, but also great when the boat's moving along. You've got 2 really lovely adjustable Helm chairs, but this seating on the port side just means a few more people can sit and enjoy the ride. And how about that for a Helm station? That is imposing, isn't it? 3 19-inch Simrad MFDs. You can see the CM8 system on the port side there. That's all the digital switching, all done through that screen. And then obviously the Simrads can be switched between navigation, radar, whatever navigation aid you need. They are a bit of a long way from the seat, but if you look just to the left-hand side of the throttle, you've got a proper remote control panel for those screens, so you can use that to control the functions of each screen. You can switch between them as well. Pair of throttles, and then you've got your proportional bound stern thrusters here as well. That wheel is fixed, which is a bit odd to me. That is unusual. Sunseeker usually have adjustment on their wheels. It might be that I'm just missing how to do it, but it looks fixed to me, which is strange because you want it to be tilted up and closer to this helm seat. But there's enough space between the seat and the wheel that you can stand and drive, or when you're in longer passages, certainly on autopilot, you can sit back in these chairs and you've got a great overall view. Keep an eye on everything. It's nicely done. View aft is good as well. There's a lot of glass in this design. Okay, let's head downstairs. You've got this sort of winding open staircase, which is a really nice way to get down to the lower deck. There's some storage on the way down. And then it's a pretty fixed 4-cabin arrangement down here. Not a huge amount of flexibility in this arrangement, but it works really well. I can't see how you could better it really. But we're going to go forward to amidships. We'll start forward in the VIP. Great cabin this, very bright. You've got a skylight plus big hull windows on either side and opening ports, so you can get some breeze running through it if it's not too hot and you don't want to rely fully on the air conditioning. Good sized bed, which is set quite high, but there's steps on either side, so you can climb up into it pretty easily. You've got repeaters for the light switches up there and sockets close-ish, so you can charge your devices at night. Up on the bulkhead on the starboard side is where you find the TV, and there's a sound bar above that, neatly integrated just below the headlining. That looks good. Then on the port side, there's a bureau and a big hanging locker. And opposite that, this cabin has a private bathroom. It's large enough to have quite a big separate shower cubicle with a rain shower overhead, nice sink unit, and all the equipment's really nice. Tecmar toilets. I like the built-in taps and tap handles as well. It looks really classy. Very nicely done. And then if we head amidships from this point, on the starboard side there's a twin. Which I believe is an option, can slide across to create a double. So quite flexible cabins. And it's en suite. Not as big as the VIP, but still nice to have a private bathroom for this cabin. Again, with a separate cubicle for the shower, towel rail, all the nice bits and bobs. Great for privacy, that there aren't any bathrooms that are shared. Now this one, the starboard side, which is for the double, is the day head. But look at the size of that. That's a great size bathroom, isn't it? Very similar in finish to the ones we've just seen, but this is the one with access from the lobby for use in the day. And it's also the ensuite for this rather lovely double. It's a double, but there's still space to walk around both sides. Headroom, haven't really mentioned it because it's so good, but it's really good throughout, well over 6 feet here. This cabin gets a lovely big bit of hull window, which you'll be able to see out of from bed, which is always nice. It's wardrobe over on that side, and the TV mounted in the bulkhead. And then, as I said, this has got ensuite access to that day head we just saw. We will continue amidships, the bottom of the stairs. On this side, on this boat, this is just storage. But I reckon, certainly at the bottom, you could potentially have a washer dryer here if you wanted one in the accommodation. There's washer dryer facilities in the crew space, but it's sometimes nice to have those for guests so that they can do their own washing in their own space. And then amidships we have the owner's cabin, which is huge. Loads of floor space in here. Look at the size of that bed. And a nice mix that on the starboard side you've got that sofa there underneath the hull window. Another big TV with the sound bar. But then on the port side you have a bureau and storage. So really good mix of furniture in here. It's a lovely space. The bathroom runs behind the bed, which is quite good because it acts as another layer of insulation from the machinery, which is just through that bulkhead. On the way in, you can see the storage here. A double wardrobe and a single. And then into the bathroom, which is really lovely. Twin basins, massive storage underneath those. And again, a lovely big separate shower cubicle. The use of space down here is great as well. Every cabin feels really luxurious, especially this one obviously. But I don't think anybody's going to feel too hard done by inside their cabins on this boat. Very nice. Oh, the last cabin we need to look at then is the crew cabin. So let's head down there. Let's head back through the boat slowly so you can take it in. Crew access is on the starboard side. Through a hatch here into the crew cabin. Right, here we go. Not too bad, eh? So this arrangement, I'm sorry, there's some kit on the bed, and this is a brand new boat, so they've got some of the canopies and things like that, covers stored on here. But you can see that's a double bed, and what I like about it is because it's underneath the steps of the cockpit, there's loads of clearance. Doesn't feel too coffin-like, and it's got things like, you know, its own porthole and reading lights on bendy stalks, just stuff you expect to see in crew, just stuff you expect to see in guest areas, not crew areas. We have this little shallow window, but it all helps to get a bit of natural light in. They've got a sofa here, so it means they can sit somewhere that isn't the bed. It's the small things in cruise spaces like this, and it's not the last word in luxury, but that just means you can sit down, take the weight off, and not be sitting on your bed the whole time, which is nice. And it's opposite a TV, and I imagine you could have another MFD down here as well, so that they can see, you know, oversee the boat with cameras and systems all from down here in the cruise space. That's something I'd want. I'm probably going to find it in this cupboard now. No, just hanging storage. And as I mentioned, there are laundry facilities in here. And actually quite a lot of storage. Yeah, they do pretty well for storage down here. Bathroom, of course, as well, before we go to the engine room. Again, that is a good size. It's more of a wet room than the, well, feels more like a wet room than the guest cabins, but it's still nicely specified and bright and spacious. I think they've done a really good job with this cruise space. I've seen far worse on yachts of this size. And the other good thing is that we have direct access to a watertight door into the engine room. A pair of MAN V12 1550s for a top speed of 32 knots. Just to put it in context, the sport yacht, the 75 sport yacht, similar size to this, is doing 40 knots. So that's the difference between the ranges. But this one will cruise at 25 knots for 400 nautical miles. So it's a great cruising boat, still a planing boat, just not quite as ludicrously quick for its size as the sport yacht. But that's where the differences lie. And what a fantastic engine room this is. The head heights are incredible. If you pan round to look at me now, you can see how much space there is above my head, between the engines. It's easy to get to the two generators. They're stacked on top of each other just when you come through this door. You can see that ladder. If you now pan to sort of look aft towards the crew cabin, you'll see there's a ladder that leads directly up to an emergency hatch that's in the cockpit, so you don't always have to come through the crew space to get into this area. It's all decked out in checker plate, bit painful on the knees, but you know, very hard wearing, grippy as well. It's a really impressive engineering space. I cannot get over the headroom in here. I know it's a big boat, but even so, and just really neat and tidy. The gauge of the pipe work, for example, everything's labelled so you know what it's doing. You know the flow directions. Should be really easy to spot if things are going wrong in here. Standard shaft drive. Yeah, these twin MAN V12 1550 V12s, well proven block. Should be a really good, reliable setup with very flexible cruising. You know, drop it down to 10 knots. You've got Sleipner fin stabilizers, so you should be able to cruise at displacement speed comfortably. But if you want to get a move on, you can cruise at 30 knots if you really want to. It's impressive performance profile. Well, there you go. That is the Sunseeker 76 yacht. I hope you enjoyed that 360 tour. Let me know what you think of the boat and also the tour style, and realise this is quite new. But I hope you enjoyed it, the fact that you have more freedom to look around as we go through the boat. And as I said, more information on this yacht, head to yachtbuyer.com. You can read the review, compare it to its rivals, to your heart's content. Thanks again for watching. I'm Jack Haines. This is Yacht Buyer 360.